So I wanted to give some basic advice, at least some useful steps on how you can get a head advantage in Norsca campaign and take large portions of Norsca and means the neighboring factions really fast. I managed to get all of this in about 16 turns, which was pretty fast, and sometimes I get a bit more, sometimes it's a bit less, but I mean, if I'm lucky, I get those two areas in 20 turns, but it's alright as it is. The only factors that I probably should point out straight away are the Bretonians. You can see they're really hate you. It's like as soon as you get in power in Norsca, Bretonians start attacking you, and you should be really aware of it. They have terrible weak armies, and
I will not.
mostly they use subpar infantry, but you should really keep that in mind. So the first thing I did is started building at least a tiny army in here, and it would be good to get some bloody bulwarks in here as well, but sometimes Bretonians start attacking sooner, sometimes it's later. Usually it's later than sooner, but you should really be aware of that. And this island, Albion, is most contested area. First of all, you got Bretonians and you got elves, and elves started attacking you as well, as long as you start fortifying in there. And if you don't start fortifying in there, you're an easy prey for Bretonians. But that's just kind of first thing I wanted to point out. In terms of defense, it's a good thing to keep that in mind all the time. I was actually hunting for Trog. I wanted to really take him out, and I would have had all of this area, but I should go back right now to get the Bretonians. And the core idea that I used is hunting individual faction leaders, preferably doing it with
My challenge?
with wizards, or I mean, you can use any other similar unit. So you can use those werewolf.
Where's my next?
Let me get a precise name for them. Can use this guy, Skinwolf Urkin, but personally I found it far easier to get a shaman sorcerer, since they are easy to recruit, and you should have several chaos shrines in any case to keep up the public order in here, which is probably the main problem, because it's deteriorating in a lot of provinces in a lot of cases. So you should really invest into kind of maintaining the public order. And yeah, that's the idea. So I sent my scouts to find enemy generals at their weakest kind of disposition, and you'll be surprised how many times AI makes this mistake of exposing their own generals and having them in under regimented army, if you can say so, army with just 2-3 battalions. I mean, have them weakened in some way, and that's exactly when you can jump in and take them out. And if you take them out, you take the entire area, and it goes really fast. I mean, I tried doing the normal thing and taking settlement by settlement, but it's really ineffective in Norsca, and you lose a lot of time by doing that. And so yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. A game gives a huge advantage at the start. Another thing that I want to point out is getting some berserkers and marauders. The thing about berserkers, they're really cheap, but they really pay off for their value because of their berserk stance and because of their frenzy. So the moment they get under 50% of health, they start getting frenzy and they start getting berserk, and they're really capable of turning the battle in your favor, and they're really cheap. I cannot stress this enough. I mean, if you compare them to the mammoth, which are not that hard to get at this stage, or werewolves, berserkers are considerably cheaper, and it's easier to maintain a larger army with them and start attacking more settlements, taking out more generals, and kind of get a head start and start going offensive early on in the game. But yeah, as good as it might be, I mean, I'm doing it on a legendary difficulty, so it's a bit different, and you have to be aware of a lot of things. You cannot just go settlement by settlement without worrying about anything. And the biggest thing you should worry about are Bretonnians and High Elves. Sometimes Dark Elves join also and start attacking you, because as Wolfric,
Dominate.
you
Yes.
get the aversion kind of penalty with -20, and when you get great power as well, everyone starts hating you. So they kind of hated you in the start, and they're gonna hate you even more. So that's playing for Wolfric. I mean, there's not much you can do. And in terms of diplomacy, there is no point doing any sort of non-aggression or trade deals with other Norscan factions, because the moment you move your main army out of the settlement, you're gonna get attacked by other Norscan factions. You're gonna take over your real estate, pretty much. And the only buddies that you can get, or sort of friendly faction, are Skaven, and you don't get this aversion penalty with them for some reason. So that's the only faction you can ally with. But yeah, overall, you might think that the Empire might be a big threat, but they kind of defensive in terms of attacking you, and usually it's Bretonnians and other Norscan tribes. So if you take out Norscan tribes really, really fast, you just have to focus on Bretonnia, and I mean, you should have a successful campaign. Since Bretonnians are generally they're pretty weak, and if you manage to counter the cavalry efficiently enough, you can take out their entire army, because it's made of peasants, and I mean, that's what they recruit. So yeah, those are some of the tips I had for getting a head start in legendary Norscan campaign, if you'll be doing it, which is quite fun, to be honest. And the most fun thing about it is that you can go on a real offense straight away. You don't have to build your base or anything. The only thing that I had to wait for is when I took over a Longship Graveyard, and I was waiting for the enemy army from Doomkeep to come and attack me. And it's probably one of the best thing to do. I mean, usually they start attacking you quite fast. If they don't start attacking you by the time you get a full-fledged army, you should just move in and kill them. And if you have Marauders plus Berserkers, you're gonna have an advantage quite surely. And it should be an easy game for you, because Berserkers go Berserk and they kill their Marauders quite easily. But you don't want to get too many Berserkers. I mean, it's best to have half Marauders, half Berserkers. So Marauders with the shields take all the damage, Berserkers do all the damage, and you get really balanced force with Berserkers killing up to 120, 150 people as they get Frenzy and Berserk. So yeah, those are the basic advices, and I'll be probably finding out some more interesting things and posting them on my channel as I progress into Norsca Legendary campaign. So if you enjoyed it, give this video a like and subscribe for more Norsca Legendary campaign. And there's gonna be probably Warriors of Chaos Legendary campaign with some modes. I added Ultimate Chaos in it. I've added some additional kind of modes that make it look more like end times event, and it should be pretty interesting. And after that, there are gonna be Dark Elves, High Elves, probably Lizardmen. I mean, I'll see how it goes after Norsca. I'll make decisions, but there are gonna be a lot of legendary campaigns on this channel. So thank you and have a great day.